All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach Kwadash. Giving double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the Akim, the brethren out there on the highways and byways pushing this truth with 100% sincerity. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. And peace and salutations to the few insincere sisters who do believe in this gospel. So I want to entitle this lesson, Beware of Those Who Intend to Deceive. And I got a couple video clips. It's an Eve, or what appears to be an Eve, just spewing some bullshit, misinterpreting scriptures, coming up with her own thing, but her intent, and it's not because when I seen these videos on Instagram the other day, and I'm just watching them, because I watched a couple of them, and the things that she was saying, it wasn't just because you got Eve, like, brother's been doing a video on this particular Eve, this Yisraelite, this Yah Israelite, talking about love the other nations and all of this shit and everything like that. It's a chance that she sincerely, I don't even want to say sincerely, but it's a chance that she actually believes that. She thinks that she's doing something right, or she's teaching the right thing for whatever reason that they may be. But this chick in this video clip that I'm about to show you, and you'll be able to see it, her intent is to specifically deceive those who may not know and understand the scriptures and don't know what these scriptures are really talking about. But that's where we come in as the men of the Lord, as the prophets, the teachers, to correctly break down these scriptures and give the flock the true understanding of what these scriptures mean. So when people like this come out the woodwork talking a bunch of BS, just like this chick is, that we're about to see, you know how to combat it, or get built up in the spirit enough to know that what she's saying is some bullshit, or what he or she, whoever is saying is some bullshit, right? Because you'll see, and when you see this video, my take on it is I believe she knows about the Hebrew Israelites and what she's saying. Her intent, without mentioning us, her intent is to go against what we say, to say that, well, you'll see the video. So I'm gonna go ahead and play both of these clips here.
Now, what if I told you that the Bible was a lot more specific? And the Bible didn't just say, and God said, let us make man in our image. The Bible specifically said which man it was that gets complete domination over the earth. And what if I told you it definitely is not Israel? What if I told you it's the Canaanites, like I've been saying, and it's Edom? And Adam does not mean Adam. It actually means Edom. Hold on. So it says, and said God, let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. So you see this word Adam, right? That's not Adam. So God just didn't create any man. He created the first man, which was Edom, which means that the Canaanites were first. And that the Canaanites have rule over all of the land, which makes sense because Jesus would have been, in fact, Canaanite. And it's so funny that it means red, because I think that could also mean copper. They were copper colored. And I really doubt they were hairy. I'm sure we all know who's hairy. We all know who's hairy because you don't become hairy with melanin. Only people without melanin are hairy. Now, what if I told you that the Bible was a lot more specific? And the Bible didn't just say, and God said, let us make man in our image, the Bible specifically said which man it was that gets complete domination over the earth. And what if I told you it definitely is not Israel? What if I told you it's the Canaanites, like I've been saying, and it's Edom? And Adam does not mean Adam. It actually means Edom. Hold on. So it says, and said God, let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. So you see this word Adam, right? That's not Adam. So God just didn't create any man. He created the first man, which was Edom, which means that the Canaanites were first. And that the Canaanites have rule over all of the land, which makes sense because Jesus would have been, in fact, Canaanite. And it's so funny that it means red, because I think that could also mean copper. They were copper colored. And I really doubt they were hairy. I'm sure we all know who's hairy. We all know who's hairy because you don't become hairy with melanin. Only people without melanin are hairy.
All right. So you heard what she said. She said a few things in this video here, right? One of the things that she said is that in Genesis, it says that when it talks about let us make man in our image, is that it's talking about Canaan and Edom, which are two completely different nations. She said it's talking about the Canaanites and Edom, and she said that word Adam is not Adam, which in the Hebrew it's Adamah, right? And we'll go into that in a little second, because the Hebrew word for Edom is Adawam, right? So that's and the Hebrew word for Esau is Ishashua. Ishashua, right? So the words that she's saying is not even correct. And you see these two definitions right here, right? She said that Adam is talking about Edom, when even in these two definitions here, it doesn't describe it. The two aren't even related, right? The two aren't even related. See, what she's doing is she's putting things up. She's putting definitions up. She's putting things up to kind of seem like she knows what she's talking about. And she's hoping that she can talk a lot of shit and that you listen to her without paying attention to what she's actually saying and what she's actually putting up to, quote unquote, try and prove what she's talking about. What she's talking about is a bunch of bullshit, right? And another thing, this motherfucker is trying to deceive you. This motherfucker got a filter on. When you look at her face, it's and you watch the video move, look closely at her eyes, right? That's one of those video filters that these chicks be using. So, as a red flag, right? But she's trying to deceive you. She's intentionally trying to deceive those who may not be built up in the spirit to go along with what she's taught for whatever agenda. It don't really matter, right? But let's go into Genesis, right? Genesis chapter 1 and verse 26, and it says, and God, which this word God is not even, is talking about, I was going to say Elohim, Elohim, right? Elohim, which means the powers. And that's going into the angels, right? And it says, and Elohim said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness. And this is why this is talking in in a plural form. This is why it says, let us make man in our image, because it's not talking about one specific being, because that word says God, but the Hebrew word for God here is Elohim, right? So it says, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon earth. Now she said that this is talking about Edom and the Canaanites, and who are supposed to have dominion over the earth or whatever, which Esau, Edom does have dominion over the earth for a time. But who the earth is made for the Israelites. Because she said it's not Israel who's to have dominion over the earth. Right? And she could have been talking about the small hats, but she don't know what she's talking about. Right? And you see she got the dashiki on and all of that. So she with that African, Pan-African bullshit probably. You know what I'm saying? But she don't know what she's talking about. She is deceiving. She is trying to be deceitful. So let's go into this word here, where it says Adam. Well, let us make man. Right? So it says man, mankind, man, human being, man, mankind, much more frequently intended sense in the Old Testament. Adam, first man, city in Jordan Valley, right? So this is just talking about man, right? This is not talking about Edom. This is not talking about Esau. It's just talking about man, right? And specifically, we know, because we know through other scriptures, like in the book of Second Esdras, which I'll pull that up. The earth was made for the Israelites. The earth was made for Yasha Allah, right? Not Edom, not Esau or anything like that, right? Or not the Canaanites, because she said it's made for the Canaanites. She even said Yahweh Shai. She said Jesus, but she even said Yahweh Shai was a Canaanite, which we'll disprove that too, right? So let's go into this other video that she made, and you'll see it's even more clear here. But let's watch it.
I did, and if you're wondering why, this is a book. This is a book. And this book has a map. And this is the map. There's no Jerusalem anymore, it's just Canaanites. And just think about it. Who was that married and was told to go somewhere and marry their first cousin? Yeah, going to Canaanites, right? Married a first cousin, that is a Canaanite. Why I don't even see in Israel anywhere and anything before 1949. Everything is Canaan. Every single thing is Canaan. Before it was... I did, and if you're wondering why, this is a book. This is a book. And this book has a map.
All right, now take a look at this map, right? So what she doesn't even understand is that in the Bible, the land that Israel took over was actually once called the land of Canaan, because the Canaanites did dwell there, right? But this is how deceptive she is, right? Because it says Canaan right there at the top, as you can see. But look at the borders in the map.
This is the...
Right? Look at the borders in the map, right? And look closely at the names. What do you see? You see Issachar, you see Manasseh, you see Ephraim, you see Zebulun, you see Asher, you see Naphtali, you see Judah at the bottom, the southern and the south. The little watermark is covering up some of the other names. But what are those names? What are those names? Those are the names of the tribes of the nation of Israel. So Yes, the map says Canaan because, yes, at one point, this land was called the land of Canaan, right? You got Reuben over there to the right. And, okay, yeah, that's all I can see. You got Dan up there at the top. See, the land of Israel was once called the land of Canaan, right? It was once called the land of Canaan because this is where the Canaanites dwelt. But what was the order? What did the Lord order us to do? The Lord ordered us to destroy the Canaanites out of that land, right? It's because that land was actually meant for us, but the Canaanites had dwelt there, and the Canaanites was doing all type of wickedness and all type of crazy shit, right? But this is why it was called the land of Canaan, because the Canaanites dwelt there. But what she's trying to make it seem like, okay, she said Yahweh was a Canaanite, who she called Jesus, because it's called the land of Canaan, but yet you see the tribes here. So it's like she's either deceived or she's trying to deceive, right? And that's what a lot of these black consciousness motherfuckers do, is they try and deceive you. They try and talk about the Bible in a way to where it sounds good. And it's this, because Jake be looking for this. Jake be getting high and smoking weed, and they look for this deep knowledge and shit like that. And they hear a bunch of mumbo jumbo that sounds like it could be deep, but it's really just a bunch of bullshit. And this is what she's talking about, is for niggas who get high and niggas and bitches that smoke weed, right? But she don't know what she's talking about. And if you listen to her and you believe what she's saying, you know, it's something wrong with you, because looking closely at what she's presenting, this is clearly, you see the names of the tribes right here on this map. Why is that? Anyway, let's go
There's
to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7. Start at verse 1. It says, when the Lord thy power shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and hath cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou, which I believe all of these were Hamite nations, right? And it says, and when the Lord thy power shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto a son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you, and destroy thee suddenly. But thus shall ye deal with them. Ye shall destroy their altars, and break down their images, and cut down their groves, and burn their graven images with fire. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord Yahweh. The Lord Yahweh, thy power, have chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are on the face of the earth. And this is talking about Israel. Verse 6 specifically. But what was the order? The order was to destroy all of the nations, which include the Canaanites, out of that land, which was in Israel, which was the land of Israel, right? So what she's talking about, yeah, it was the land of Canaan. It was called the land of Canaan. Let me find that. Because, yeah, Abraham dwelt in the land of Canaan. before his name was changed to Abraham. But see, look, Genesis 13 and verse 12, it says, Abram dwelled in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelled in the cities of the plain and pitched his tent towards Sodom. What was the land of Canaan? Right? That was the future nation of Israel, right? Let me go here. Let me start. Let me start. I'm going to start here at verse 4. This is Genesis chapter 17 and verse 4. It says, As for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations. Talking to Abram before his name was changed to Abraham. Well, actually here, verse 5, it says, Neither shall thy name any more be called Abram, but thy name shall be Abraham. For a father of many nations have I made thee. And I will make thee exceeding fruitful, and I will make nations of thee, and kings shall come out of thee. And I will establish my covenant between me and thee and thy seed after thee in their generations for an everlasting covenant, to be a power unto thee and to thy seed after thee. And I will give unto thee and to thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger, all the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession, and I will be their power. So the Lord promised Abraham the land of Canaan, right? And Deuteronomy was, the next generation was being prepped to go and take over the land of Canaan. And in the book of Joshua, they actually went in and took over the land of Canaan, or at least a portion of it, because, the Canaanites were still, they didn't kill off all of the Canaanites. The Lord had it that way to test them. The Lord had it that way to test the nation of Israel to see if they would, serve the Lord, or, would they go off and worship the other gods, right? But the land of Canaan, yes, it was called the land of Canaan at one point, right? But it was given to Abraham, right, as a promise to Abraham for the covenant that he made with Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, right? So she's, once again, that this chick is leaving out information. The map she showed is, if you got to pay attention. You got to look at it and see. When you look at that map that she showed, I mean, it has the names of the tribes on there in the lands that they were given. So she's clearly trying to deceive you, because it doesn't say Israel. It doesn't say Israel on the land. She's like, see, this is not the nation of it. This is not the land of Israel, but it's divided up between the 12 tribes. But okay, all right. Clear deception. Now, let's go here to 2nd Esdras, chapter 6. I'm going to start at verse 55, and it says, All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou hast made the world for our sakes. Talking about, actually, start at verse 54. It says, And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. Talking about the Israelites. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes. As for the other people which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, including the Canaanites, but be like unto spittle, and is likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. And now, O Lord, behold, these heathen, which have ever been reputed as nothing, have begun to be lords over us and devour us. But we, thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten, and thy fervent lover, are given into their hands, if the world now be made for our sakes, or do we not possess an inheritance with the world? How long shall this endure, right? Because at that time, it wasn't time yet, right? Second Ezra 6 and 9, 6 and 8 says, and he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So yeah, Esau does have his rulership, which she tried to relate Esau and the Canaanites, which once again, she was just talking shit, right? Because what she said about that don't even make sense, right? So it says, but Esau does have his portion in rulership, which we're in right now, being in the fourth beast, the revival of the Roman Empire, which we call, or which is called in the scriptures, Babylon the Great, which we know to be America, right? But Esau does have his portion in rulership, as here it says, Esau is the end of the world, right? And Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, right? Because after this world, Israel is going to rule. We're going to be under the kingdom of Yahweh Shah, which in turn is the kingdom of Israel. You know, so what this chick is preaching, or what this chick is trying to do, is she's just simply trying to deceive those who don't really read, niggas who smoke weed, and you just looking for something deep, or something that sounds deep. It ain't even deep because it don't even make sense. Now, she also said that Yahweh Shah was a Canaanite. Let's go to Matthew 1. And you can just read the first verse. It says, the book of the generation of Yahweh Shah, the son of David, the son of Abraham. David wasn't a Canaanite. David was a Judite. Abraham wasn't a Canaanite. Abraham was a Hebrew. So we can just stop right there, but we'll keep going. It says, Abraham begot Isaac, and Isaac begot Jacob, and Jacob begot Judas and his brethren, and Judah begot Pharez and Zerah of Tamar, and Pharez begat Ezram, and Ezram begat Aram, and Aram begat Aminadab, and Aminadab begat Nahshon, and Nahshon begat Salmon, and Salmon begat Boaz of Rechab, and Boaz begat Obed of Ruth, and Obed begat Jesse, and Jesse begat David the king, and David the king begat Solomon of her that had been the wife of Uriah, and Solomon begat Rehoboam, Rehoboam. I think it's supposed to be Rehoboam, but and Rehoboam begat Abiah, and Abiah begat Asa, and Asa begat Josaphat, and Josaphat begat Joram, and Joram begat Osias, and Osias begat Jotham, and Jotham begat Achaz, and Achaz begat Ezekias, I believe Ezekiel, and Ezekiel begat Manassas, and Manassas begat Ammon, and Ammon begat Josias, and Josias begat Jeconias and his brethren, in the time they were carried away to Babylon. And after they were brought to Babylon, Jeconias begat Salathiel, and Salathiel begat Zerubbabel, and Zerubbabel begat Abiud, and Abiud begat Eliakim, and Eliakim begat Azor, and Azor begat Sadoc, and Sadoc begat Achim, and Achim begat Eliud, and Eliud begat Eleazar, and Eleazar begat Mathan. Mathan begat Jacob, and Jacob begat Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom was born Yahweh Shah, who is called Hamashiach, right? And all of these were Judites. One of the tribes, Judah, from the tribe of Judah, one of the tribes of the nation of Israel. So she said that Yahweh Shah was a Canaanite. He was born in the former land of Canaan, but he wasn't a Canaanite. He was a Judite. He came out of the tribe of Judah. We see that here in Hebrews 7 and 14. It says, "For it is evident that our Lord sprang out of Judah, of which tribe Moses spake nothing concerning priesthood," right? So Yahushua came from the tribe of Judah. He didn't come from Canaan. He wasn't a Canaanite. But, you know, this is what you get when you have people who are deceived themselves, trying to deceive other people, and really don't know what they're talking about. Which she would actually be better off. She got that African dashiki and shit on. She would actually be better off if she knew what the truth was of the scriptures, instead of thinking that, because I believe she thinks that the small hats are the true Israelites, but she's probably never really read the Bible, and never really read the scriptures, never really gone into the scriptures. But if she would have believed the truth, she'll be a whole lot better off. You know what I'm saying? She can wear her dashiki, and, she can put a hair wrap on, and, make a dashiki dress. You know what I'm saying? And stop trying to teach and just be a wife to the man of the Lord, and she'll be all right. She take that filter off too. She ain't necessarily a bad looking woman, but she just gotta, she just need a little work. She need a little work, right? But Lord willing, this was an edifying lesson. Giving our praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahak Wadash. And until next time, shalom.